Hello, this is the next part of vendor management tutorial series, and here we will be talking about vendor portal. I will show how to create users for vendor portal, which operations are supported there, how to use it. So let's begin. To start using vendor portal, there are not so many actions which should be done. The only thing you have to do is to create users for your vendors. And when some criteria or requirements are met, those users are treated as vendor portal users by the application. And to achieve this, you have to go to the security group in the navigation bar and then select users. And in this list, create a new user and provide some name. Let's say it will be test user. It should be is active. Email can be selected here or provided to send mail messages. Let's select my personal email, then first name and last name. And then you have to select associated vendor value, and under roles tab, add a new role and select predefined vendor role. So these two things are required to create vendor portal users. User, select associated vendor and provide vendor role here. Then when this is done, next thing is to create password for this user. By default, password is blank. And you can do like this. You can save your user and click send login details, for example. And this will allow to create mail message to your user under preview. And by default, this user will have blank password. And as you see, when we have saved our new test user, a checkbox force password change was checked automatically. And when your new vendor portal user will log into the portal, they will see corresponding message to change their password, like this. I open second browser window and let's type test user, blank password, sign in, and application will force you to change your password. Old password should be left blank and then provide new password here. Another option here for administrator is to, for example, remove checkbox or do not remove, but click this button, change password. And here we can provide some password, for example, like this. Click OK. New password has been sent. And then when we send login details to this user, under your password place, instead of empty, you can remove it and provide password which you have specified by default for your vendor. So two options here. Also, you can switch to the notifications tab and change notification method. By default, it is set to in application, but probably you have to select to both to send notifications in the application and by email. And again, save. We can remove force password change like that. And now if I will switch to the second browser tab and refresh the page, you will see that this time password change dialog does not appear. Also, instead of creating users for your vendor portal users one by one, you can use another approach. You can go to the vendors tab and select vendors for which you wish to create access to the vendor portal. Then click batch create users. You will see a modal dialog with names of vendors which were selected in the list. And then you can provide first name, last name for each one, email, then username, this is a login, and password. By default, application generates some generic password, and this password will be included in email sent to that users. And then you can click send, and application will use default message template to send login details, and these emails to send user information to particular users, vendors. Additionally, if you have selected not all vendors in your list, you can use add vendors or add clients buttons here. And when you click add vendors and, for example, select another one, click OK, and we will see another one here. When you click send, application will generate email messages, send them, and if everything is okay, then send checkbox will be checked and error will be empty. If something bad occurs, then you will see error message and you will be able to send again, and application will send confirmations again to your vendors, except those which were processed successfully during previous attempt. So that's about creation of vendor portal users. Now let's move to the functionality of vendor portals. In the second browser window, I have already logged in as test user. This one already has some assignments, okay. User can click on the test user name, and there are a few options here: logout, manage profile, and manage user. Manage user allows to manage login details like first name, last name, email, those information which we have provided in the and change password is possible here as well, provided in the user creation window. And manage profile allows to open vendor profile. Here all the information from the vendor provided in the system, the same as you see in the vendor profile when using application as administrator. By default, users can edit information in these boxes. Additionally, using application settings, you can restrict access to fields which are already filled. So if first name is already specified, this field will be grayed out and only last name will be available for editing for your vendor. Or you can close access to editing of the profile at all. So vendor can upload their photo, provide additional details, productivity, etc., etc. Under Files tab, also possible to upload some files like signed contract or something like that. Then, under Languages tab, it's possible to provide native languages and supported language pairs, so everything which I was talking about in previous videos about vendor profiles. Price List tab is not available here by default, but resultant price list is here, so vendor can view information, pricing information assigned to them by their manager. Under Days of Unavailability, vendors can create days when they will be missing and not available for work. Under Assignments tab, they can view their history of assignments. As you see, navigation menu is pretty simple here. Only dashboard is available on the left and documents which can be viewed by vendors. These are invoices created by vendor, payments processed against vendors' invoices, translation assignments, main tab where all the work is listed, and quotes. Here they will see quotes requests coming from our company and react on these vendor quotes and send them back to managers. Alright, so now let's try to create some translation assignment for this vendor. Let's go to the first browser window. Let's go to translation assignments and let's create new assignment. Let's say it will be some generic assignment. We won't select too much here. Let's select some status, for example, this one, which is processing. No, there are no any unassigned tasks. What can be selected here? Okay, let's not select any job. Let's just specify some language pair. Let's check which languages are supported by this vendor to correctly select it. It will be English, French. English, French. This one, translation projects and specialization, and here is a vendor. Let's select Alejandro Rodriguez. Let's create some translation task. Quantity and units. Some price, some amount is here. Let's probably increase volume. Okay. And now we have status of our assignment set as draft. Let's try to change it from draft to prepare. So we have assignment with selected vendor and prepare status. I save it, and you can see that new notification came to our vendor. The same notification has been sent in the application and by email. As you can see, if I will drag my email box to this screen, you see that I've got notification with this average volume and required services. It was possible to click on the notification. Let me repeat these steps: prepare, send, and when vendor uses a portal and they receive notification, I can click on it, and corresponding translation assignment will be opened, where vendor can view files attached to assignment, view tasks provided here, main information about assignment, language pair, job name, specialization, required software. Under instructions, we can specify some instructions so vendor can view them, and when vendor views it, they can use these buttons to accept work, decline, and counter offer. Let's say they want to send counter offer and I need more time. Okay, again, new notification has been sent, this time to our manager. We can click on it and assignment will be opened, and when we will go to assignment candidates tab, we will see that this vendor asks for more time. Alright, and in this case we can provide some additional information. For example, like we can provide more time and increase deadline by this value, and save job again. Vendor will receive again notification. Sorry, we missed it, and we can go to assignment, open it, and here is we can provide more time, and now deadline is increased and vendor accepts the work. Thank you for accepting work. Again, notification came that vendor has just accepted job, and if to refresh this page, you can see that status of our assignment has been changed to in work, and if we will go to the Files tab under Root, then you will see that application automatically generated purchase order for this vendor when they accepted the work. And in this case, in this particular case, since vendor was already selected, so it was a single vendor for which we had an offer, then application was able to generate this purchase order. In other case, when we use assignment candidates tab, and if acceptance behavior is set to requires approval from PM, then of course purchase order won't be generated automatically and immediately, and work status won't be changed to in work. Instead, we will still have prepare status, and manager who decides whom of candidates to assign to this work, this person will select appropriate candidate here, click on apply button, and only in this case status of assignment will be changed to in work, vendor will be assigned here, and corresponding purchase order will be generated only at that point of time. So now if we open as a vendor this assignment, we will find out that status is in work, and under Files tab there is a purchase order, and on the dashboard under ongoing assignments vendor can find that assignment. And during working on this assignment, depending on which kind of delivery is required, they can click on the delivery button and deliver that assignment. Delivery can be full or partial. In this case we do not have any source files, but let's select some target file to upload. Like this, click OK. And you can see that assignment has been successfully delivered. Again, we've got notification that it is done. And then manager can open that assignment, check it, download target file. Let's expand the window, check it, and get back, for example, to a vendor by writing message to a vendor and providing some feedback and setting some rating at the end of translation. When assignment is delivered and when it's done, we can go back to the vendor portal, and under past assignments we can find a single assignment. There could be more, and then vendor can select necessary assignments and click register invoice. Model dialog appears where vendor can provide number of invoice, payment term, date, payment method, which can be selected from one of methods registered in the vendor profile, currency, some notes. Here you can find a list of assignments included in the invoice, and if there is any PDF file generated by vendor itself, they can upload it here. Then here is a separate button to upload invoice file. Then we click OK. Invoice has been created, and another notification for vendor that invoice has been added. Then we can go to Invoices, find invoice, and for example click on approve or create payment, like that, when payment is actually done. And vendor in its turn under Invoices tab can find out that this invoice is approved and it was paid and due is 0. And if we will go to the dashboard, you can see that under unpaid invoices there is nothing now. So this is how work with invoices and assignment delivery and payments is processed in TBM. Additionally, on the quick access toolbar there is a report button which allows vendor to view a report which is allowed by the vendor role. You can amend vendor role to add more reports available for vendor, but by default there is one report available and it looks like this. Vendor can view number of jobs they did in some period of time, view unpaid assignments, unpaid invoices by currencies, average rating, top specialization, so some information, general information about our cooperation with this vendor. Additionally, and we will talk about this in the next videos, there is ongoing recent payments, test pieces tab widget here on the dashboard, and it is a topic for separate video. We will talk about this a bit later. Also, vendors can view notifications sent for them on the top toolbar, change application language, change font size, appearance, like that. So that's about portal. Pretty simple and straightforward functionality. In future, of course, We plan to improve it by adding, first of all, better communication between vendors and managers and probably end clients by providing some chats or other ways. But that's for future. For now, that's about translation assignments, job offers, ongoing works, delivering files, issuing invoices, tracking them, tracking payments, and viewing reports, and this type of kind of dashboard. So that's it. Thank you for watching and see you in next videos.